Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A little update from Ukraine front. We have the Russians, we have the Ukrainians, and the Russians advance, the Ukrainian advance. Chasiv Yar is in deep doo-doo. The Russians advance towards Pokrovsk. The Russians also advance towards Kurakhove. The Ukrainians said no, we push them back. The problems in Kharkiv, the Ukrainians advance in Kharkiv, push back the Russians, but the Russians are doing fantastically as the Ukrainians do. So they're all good, another topic for this video is the Great Britain, which threatens Russia. You remember, if you don't remember, I tell you, England was, I would say, the biggest naval power for hundreds of years. Now we find out that Great Britain has only 2 Navy destroyers operational. And they challenge who? That's why they are challenging the Russian bear with other people's lives, and they stay behind because they have only 2 British Navy destroyers operational. Well, I guess diversity is their strength as well. Look in London. Go and have a stroll through London and see how it goes. And we find out that, as I anticipated, and I said many times before, the military equipment, weapons, unaccounted for, lost, stolen in Ukraine, will come to destabilize the sponsors, which is the West. United States cut Javelin missile delivery to Ukraine. You know, after what incident? After early Improper inventory in 2022. We're going to find out how many Javelin, missiles are missing. Where do you think they are? Are they in the United States of America, through the southern border? Are they in Europe? Remember, with that one, you can hit planes, you can hit locations that you don't see far away. Well, let's start with the first article, where we find out that the Russians launched a drone attack on Ukraine. Not a big drone attack. The reason why I picked this article is not because, Russians, on the night of December 16, the Ukrainian Defense Forces shot down 14 Russian UAVs over the Cherkasy region. It's not because of this. Is it because of this? Makes me laugh. Russian drone debris damages power lines in Cherkasy region. So they say that the debris of a drone flying around, they shot it and the debris just damaged some power lines here. Now, let me explain this. This is a lie. I think the drones fucked them up. Why? So you see these long power lines over here? In order to defend all these things, you have to have very close, let's say from maybe 200 meters to 200 meters, located people with that's one. The other one is with electronic warfare systems. Again, you have to deploy them all along the watchtower, all along these power lines. And those are, I would say, hundreds of miles all over the place. So in order to get a drone flying towards you and falling exactly on this one, it's a lie. I will explain. Here, I'm going to show you a map. Here's the map, right? So the drones usually come from here, obviously, and from here. As far as I know, at this point, they come from, Primorsko-Akhtarsk, sometimes Cape Chauda, sometimes from Milerovo here, sometimes from Bryansk, Oriol, Bryansk, and Kursk. These are the areas that these guys use. So you're not going to put them all along this, you're going to put them right here. You're going to put them along this. You're not going to, remember the Thermopyle, however you want to call it, the Greeks, the Spartans, the 300 Spartans, together with many thousands of others, remember? They stopped the invaders. They picked a narrow pass. Why? Because it's easier to defend there than in front of, 3,000 miles front. Therefore, you don't put these guys, you try to go to a bottleneck. That's where you try. So that's why I try to early, not at every. They don't have the resources to down all those drones. Let's start with that. So the chances that you just one and that fell right on those power lines, by the power lines, it's It's how many lotteries did you win lately? 15,000? I don't think so. So that's why for me this is a lie. All right, where is Cherkasy? All right, let's see where Cherkasy is. Cherkasy is right here in the center. Okay, next one. Ukraine form. Russians actively assault Chasiv Yar, outskirts of Kurakhove. So they say the Russians actively assault Chasiv Yar and the outskirts of Kurakhove. And where are those located? They are located in Donetsk People Republic or Donetsk Oblast. So Kurakhove is right here by this reservoir. And then you have the Chasiv Yar or Chasiv Yar right here by Artemovsk, which is Bakhmut. So this is where the Russians are advancing in Chasiv Yar, and they are advancing right here in Kurakhove. They are advancing actually almost everywhere on this front. The only place where they don't do anything is kind of like Zaporozhye, not much, and it is the Kherson across the Dnieper River. They also advance little by little here by Kupiansk. This is in Kharkiv Oblast, but it seems like it's stopped. But what do we find out here? Sputnik. Russian forces advance in DPR, liberate Yelizavetovka, and repel counterattacks. Remember, this is according to the Russians. Russian armed forces continue their offensive operations in the Donetsk People's Republic, according to reports from the Russian Ministry of Defense. All right, as a result of decisive actions, the settlement of Yelizavetovka has been liberated, the military stated. And they say what they did here, they did this, and they blah, 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 blah. So they claim they liberated another town. Ukrainian forces regain positions in Kharkiv Oblast as Russians advance in Donbas. So they say that the Ukrainians, this is Kharkiv, regain positions in Kharkiv. This is Kharkiv, this is Kupiansk, this is Kharkiv Oblast. So they say we regained positions somewhere here, but the Russians are advancing in Donetsk, which is all this. No surprise here, correct? Let's see what these guys are saying. And they show us this little paparaka tsakamaka. Meanwhile, observers note Russian advances in Donetsk Oblast, specifically near 5 settlements across 3 sectors. Analysts reported Russian forces have made gains near Dachny on the Pokrovsk front, where they are attempting to strengthen their right eastern flank to advance towards Pokrovsk. Pokrovsk, right here. Krasnoarmeysk. This is Pokrovsk. This is where the Russians advance. All right. Russian troops also pushed forward in Chasiv Yar on the Kramatorsk front. As I said, Chasiv Yar is by Bakhmut, right here. Artemovsk, Bakhmut, in this front. All right, let's see what else. The most significant enemy advances occurred in Vremivka front. Russian forces moved forward near Zelenivka as well as near Storozhevnya in Novmabibijuju. Situation in Kharkiv. If they start with this baboonish, then we're done with that one. It was reported on September, December, they claim, but here's the baboon right there. Anyway, can't stand the face. Next one, let's see how the British are challenging the Russians. I think if the Argentinians or Argentines try another thing in Falkland Islands, I think they could be successful. But Milei is the pimp for the customer United States of America, which they will not do. And Great Britain. Only 2 British Navy destroyers operational. I wonder why. Remember, they have a aircraft carrier, the gem of the British Navy. On 2 occasions, it was supposed to participate in some little drills, one by Canada and one in the Atlantic Ocean somewhere differently with the Americans. And both times it's turned around because, I don't know, something was wrong. The guys would not be strong enough to oar it across the Atlantic. The gem. It's about 2 years old and it was, I don't know how many, $2 billion cost or something. But hey, as a Russian general said, let them build aircraft carriers. That's very easy for us to target them. The bigger, the better. And that's true. The Royal Navy destroyer fleet has hit a historic low, with only 2 out of its 6 advanced Type 45 destroyers currently operational. Doesn't mean that tomorrow all 6 will be. The remaining vessels are undergoing extensive repairs, with 4 Type 45s in the refit yard at Portsmouth. That's where the aircraft carrier tried to leave, leaving the fleet at its smallest size in over a century. Among the issues affecting the fleet of HMS Daring, which he spent more time in the maintenance than in active service since its commission 12 years ago. This is a new vessel 12 years ago. Additional, of the Navy's 8 Type 23 frigates, only 6 are currently operational. Sorry ass situation. With just 8 out of 14 destroyers and frigates available for duty compared to over 800 during the Navy's peak in 1945. Then our men were in charge. The UK naval strength is at its lowest point since the destroyer program began under Queen Victoria. So 8 over 800. The sharp reduction in operational ships has raised concern about the nation's security. All right, let's see. We simply cannot defend London. So why don't you talk to your arms manufacturing and they will build more for you. Less food and gas prices for you, but it's okay. You're going to have destroyers to defend what exactly? The modern economic happy slaves, consumers, that is. Good job. All right, that's that Quan, the Zen Quan. What's the sound of a one-hand clap? That's the one. I solved it. Oh. Let's go to the last article. Sputnik. United States cut Javelin missile delivery to Ukraine after early Improper inventory in 2022. So these guys were too hungry to steal. Sometimes when you steal, my friends, if you have any experience doing that, you don't just jump, it's too obvious. You just look for the, what's the consequences? You're going to hit somewhere else. You don't, oh my God, the javelins are coming. Blah, 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 blah. You do that. Even these guys who know that's going to happen say, too much is too much. I mean, even our baboons will realize that we are selling their wealth. To whom? To whomever they want. That's democracy for you. The US has greatly reduced the number of Javelin anti-tank missile deliveries to Ukraine after 2022, while the latest audit report from the US Department of Defense detailed how the early shipments of such weapons to Kiev in 2022 were not properly inventoried. So, what's going on? 91% improperly inventoried. You know what it is, 91? How many did they send? Right? They said the Javelin anti-armor systems pledged to Kiev passed 8,500 by August 2022. And 91 out of that, there is about, 8,000. I will put about, let's say 7,900 are improperly inventoried. This is for you, my friends. What do you think happened to that? According to the OIG audit report, about 67% of the delinquent designated defense articles which were not properly tracked or monitored entered Ukraine in 2022. There you have, my friends. So what do you think? Where are those? Probably in Europe. 70% dropped after 2022. So they dropped it, 70% drop. But where are they? Who owns them? I suspect there are some criminal enterprises that if some things are voted or not voted by the elected officials, they can fuck them up if they want, wherever they want. If they don't like a president taking off from an airfield, they can watch it, if you know what I mean. Many things they can do. And then you're going to have these guys with this, didn't they? Now that I remember, didn't they? And they did. They discovered in the southern border of US those kind of javelins. They did, if I remember right now. So they are in the United States of America. So imagine that you have a judge somewhere doing the wrong thing, like dispensing justice, and you got some people very upset. Or let's say the US Congress decides no more aid to Ukraine. What do you think these guys will be doing? Push a button, activate the source, and they will them up. And then what are you going to do? You're going to blame Putin. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. See you.